Hello everyone and welcome back to my Days of Our Lives 21 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. After Maggie's sensations over the restored Horton house, Julie tells her friend not to marry Constantine. She heard the story about Victor's involvement in Constantine's son's death. She worries Constantine came to get vengeance and is using Maggie to do it. Maggie asks her to trust that she knows what she's doing. Julie deduces there's a plan and wants to hear all about it. Maggie thinks the less she knows, the better. Teresa finds Constantine drinking with his bases up in the Kyriakis' living room. He asks how her plan to marry Alex is going. She gets protective and they dispute. Brady saunters in, wondering why they talking about diverting the true heir at law's plutocrat. Constantine says he mixed up his English and leaves. Formerly alone, Teresa grouses to Brady that she and Alex are in an open relationship. She doesn't like sharing, but if he's not going to be exclusive, why should she? She plants a kiss on Brady. Alex comes to the DiMera manse and instantly kisses Kristen. She stops him because, as fun as he is, I'm just not that into you. Either he's in love with Teresa. He denies it, but Kristen says that he was professing his love to Teresa in his sleep last night. He's just using her as a distraction from his true passions. Which is fine since she's in love with Brady. Alex reluctantly admits she's right, but worries he shouldn't trust Teresa. With Chad's gun aimed at him in the forestland, Clyde declares Abigail is alive. Chad's face twitches and twists. Harris implores him to hand over the armament. Despite doubling down on ending Clyde's life, Chad lowers the gun. He'll let Clyde live so he can figure out how Abigail could conceivably be alive and where she is. He hands the gun to Harris. At the Horton house, Julie urges Maggie to call off the marriage before it's too late. And why would she do that? Constantine wonders from the hall behind them. The door was open, he explains, noting no bone. Locks their doors in Salem. It's a friendly city, Julie snarks. We don't anticipate to have unpleasant interferers. Constantine declares Maggie is saving his life by marrying him. He'll do everything in his power to cover her. Until death doth us do part. Julie brings up Victor being responsible for the death of his son, as Ava hates the gluten-free Chuck. In the motel room, Chad shuffles in. After she leaves to see Harris, Lucas detects Chad's not okay. Chad tells him that Abigail could be alive. Lucas assumes Clyde was just trying to save his own skin, but Chad prodigies what if he wasn't lying. At the Kyriakis' manse, Brady pulls down from Teresa's kiss to reuse what's going on. She paws at him as she tells him she wants him. Brady resists, wanting to just concentrate on their son together. Teresa knows there's further to them thanks co-parenting. She swears there'll be no further drama, clinginess, pressure, or demands. Assuming he's really lonely for fellowship and affection, she kisses his neck. He pulls down, gaping hardly into her eyes. At the DiMera manse, Alex recounts the numerous times it felt like Teresa was about to confess commodity, but also she'd change her mind. And her explanations for her white falsehoods no way make sense. Kristen says if he really loves Teresa, he needs to find out what she wants to tell him. He thanks her for the advice. They wish each other luck with Teresa and Brady independently before he leaves. When Ava returns to the forestland, Harris gruffly explains he handed Clyde over to the FBI. She knows he's not happy she planned to kill Clyde, but she won't apologize for trying to keep her son safe. She knows she went too far, but it all worked out. Harris says they'll talk further about it when they get back to Salem. He leaves to make sure Clyde is duly reused. At the Horton house, Constantine tells Julie he forgave Victor for his son's sake. He also tells Maggie his visa is officially expiring, so they need to get wedded hereafter. Julie gasps and implores Maggie to suppose this through. Still, Maggie says, by this time hereafter, it'll all be behind us. Alone in the DiMera manse, Kristen looks at a print of herself and Brady on her phone. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win you back, she says. And this time I'm not going to let you go. Alex returns to the Kyriakis' manse crying for Teresa, but she's not in the living room. Rather, she's upstairs passionately kissing Brady as they stumble into a bedroom. They fall onto the bed. At the motel, Lucas urges Chad not to believe Clyde. Frustrated, Chad shouts and bangs on the cabinetwork. reminding Chad that he's the bone who set up Abigail after she was attacked. Lucas grows emotional. He loved Abigail too. Chad embraces him. Days of Our Lives spoilers recap for Thursday, June 6th. Reveals that Brady Black eavesdropped Constantine Meliunis talking to Teresa Donovan about diverting the true heir-at-law's heritage, but Constantine acted like he was talking about Maggie Kyriakis participating her portion of the fortune. After Constantine left, Teresa complained about Alex Kyriakis presumably being off with Kristen DiMera tonight. Once Teresa mentioned her open relationship she allowed. She merited some fun too and planted a kiss on Brady. Brady kissed back before pulling down and wondering what Teresa was doing. Although Brady didn't suppose it was a good idea to cross this line again, Teresa swore to bear and acted like this could purely be about enjoying their connection. Brady ultimately surrendered to Teresa's temptation sweats, so they kissed passionately as they stumbled into one of the bedrooms and fell back on the bed. At the DiMera manse on Thursday's day's occasion, Alex flirted with Kristen and wanted to hit the waists again, but she refocused out that they formerly did it twice this morning. Alex allowed. The delicacy store was open all the time, but Kristen claimed she was shutting it down since she just wasn't that into Alex. Although that bruised Alex's pride a bit, Kristen refocused out that she was in love with Brady and Alex was in love with Teresa. In fact, Alex had been talking in his sleep about how Teresa was the woman he wanted and demanded. That news surprised Alex, who eventually admitted he felt like Teresa was holding back, and that she'd been on the verge of confessing commodity on numerous occasions. Kristen suggested that if Alex could get Teresa to admit what that was, also perhaps he could reach another position with her. Alex thanked Kristen for the guidance as they wished each other luck with their true love trials. Once Kristen was alone, she looked at a picture of herself with Brady and pledged not to let him go. Formerly she got him back. Back at the Kyriakis manse on Thursday's day's occasion, Alex was puzzled when he came home and couldn't find Teresa since Henderson said she was there. Meanwhile, Maggie respected the Horton house emendations before Julie Williams admitted she had enterprises about the brewing espousal. Julie pushed Maggie not to marry Constantine since she wasn't buying his story about timber amends with Victor Kyriakis. It sounded more like Constantine wanted vengeance and was using Maggie to get it. Maggie's response let Julie know there was a plan in stir, but Maggie refused to get into the details. After Julie brought up Chad DiMera's parlous trip to find Clyde Weston, she circled back to Maggie demanding to call off the marriage. Constantine intruded since the door was uncorked, so he defended Maggie's liberality for doing him this favor and stood by his claims that he made amends with Victor. Once Constantine said he got updates on his visa officially expiring, he told Maggie that they demanded to marry by this time hereafter and got her blessing. In Montana on Thursday's DOL show, Chad was confused over Clyde Weston claiming that Abigail DiMera was alive and well. Although Chad was skeptical, he ultimately put the gun down since he demanded to know how Abigail's survival was possible and where she was now. Harris Michaels assured Chad that they de-interrogate Clyde and get some answers. While Harris handed Clyde over to the FBI, Chad headed to Lucas Horton and Ava Vitale's motel room.